Volume of triangular prisms, topic 18-4, Envision Math 6. First, we're going to list the steps to finding the volume of a rectangular prism, which is what we did in our previous topic. Okay, first we found the area of the base. Well, on a triangular prism, our base is going to be the triangle piece. We do need to make sure when we are finding the area of the triangular base that the base and the height are perpendicular to each other. That means they form a 90-degree angle. Second, we want to find the height of the prism, or what I like to think of is the width, meaning the thickness between those two faces. And last is find the volume. So our formula for the volume of a triangular prism is going to basically be the base times the height of that triangle piece. Since it's a triangle, we need to divide it by 2, and then we're going to multiply it by the width or the thickness of the prism. So let's go ahead and try it. The area of the base times the height. Here is our 90-degree angle here, so our base will be 4 and our height will be 3. So we're going to have 3 times 4 divided by 2, which will give us 6 centimeters squared because we're finding area. Now we want the width of the prism, or that thickness, which is 5 centimeters. And then to find the volume, we're going to multiply the 6 centimeters squared by the 5 centimeters to give us 30 centimeters cubed. Now let's compare the volume of a rectangular prism to the volume of a triangular prism. I'm going to look at the triangle first, and I'm going to look at this base, which is the triangular base. The bottom of that would be 3 centimeters, and the height would be 4 centimeters. So we would have 3 times 4 divided by 2. 3 times 4 is 12, divided by 2 would give us 6 centimeters. I want to see the same dimensions on the area of the base, so I'm actually going to take this figure and turn it around so that my base becomes also 3 by 4. But since this is a rectangular prism, I am not going to divide it by 2. It's going to be 12. And I'm going to pretend like this is centimeters too, so we're dealing with the same units. And since they're both area, they should both be centimeters squared. Now let's look at the height, or the width of the prism. For the triangular one, we have 5 centimeters. And now for our rectangular prism, we also have 5. Change that to centimeters. So then the volume for the triangular prism would be 6 times 5, which is going to give us 30 centimeters cubed. And the volume of the rectangular prism would be 12 times 5, which is going to give us 60 centimeters cubed. And you will notice that the volume of the triangular prism is exactly half of the volume of the rectangular prism, which makes sense because the area of a triangle is exactly half of the area of the rectangle. And if we looked at this rectangular prism here and we cut it right down the middle and drew lines where that would be, we would have exactly 2 rectangular prisms within, or 2 triangular prisms within that one rectangular prism. All right, let's try 2 more examples. So here we want the area of the base, and the base is our triangle. We want to make sure the base of that triangle and the height are perpendicular to each other. So that will give us 6 times 4. That little arrow is pointing to that height of 4, divided by 2. 6 times 4 is 24, divided by 2 is 12 feet squared. The width of our prism is 7. So now we just need to do 12 times 7, which will be 84 feet cubed. For our next example, here is our triangle here. I'm going to say the base will be 4, and the height here is also 4. Can't forget about, since it's a triangle, divided by 2. 4 times 4 is 16, divided by 2 is 8 millimeters squared. The width of the prism, or the thickness, is 3 millimeters. So we are simply going to multiply those, which will give us 24 millimeters. Now you try. Go ahead and pause the video, and when you hit play again, the answers for 1 and 2 will appear. Okay, for number 1, we have a triangular base that's 9 times 10, which would be 90, divided by 2 would give us 45 inches squared. Multiply that by 7, which is the width or thickness of the prism, and we get 315 inches cubed. For number 2, 4 times 3 is that triangular base, which is 12, divided by 2 gives us 6 centimeters squared. Multiply that by the thickness, or the width, of 6 centimeters, and we get 36 centimeters cubed. Now number 3 says, how is finding the volume of a triangular prism similar to find the volume of a rectangular prism? Go ahead and answer that, and when you hit play again after you pause this section, the answer will appear. Okay, so for number 3, we follow the same procedure. We first find the area of the base. It's just when we're doing a triangular prism. To find that area, we do base times height and then divide it by 2. Then for both of them, we look for the width or the thickness, and we multiply that base area by the width to get the volume. And as we saw previously, the volume of a triangular prism with the same measurements as a rectangular prism will be exactly that, or exactly half of the volume of the rectangular prism. Go ahead and do your quick check and see how well you understood today's lesson.